back to more of How to Fortress Your Dwarves. I decided I'd just knock out a bunch of videos this week, or this weekend anyway. And you'll notice right out the bat that, well, things are a little bit different than what we were accustomed to in the last videos. Yeah, I kind of had to switch locations. I don't know what it is, but the goblins are just on my ass constantly. Even reclaiming, I couldn't really get back to full strength by the time I really needed to have the forces ready to deal with the goblins. And, well, I kind of had to switch gears a little bit. I changed locations. We are getting back to where we were, just about. Unfortunately, I kind of did have to already kind of put some mechanics into the fortress to make it work as it is right now. But I'll kind of show off some of the intricacies of the lever system here in a little bit. You'll notice here's the workshops, the storage areas are right below it, just as they were in the other fortress. A little different layout, but you'll also notice we don't quite have as many living quarters up and running yet, but we'll get around to sorting that stuff out. The area does need to be cleaned up a bit. We still have a lot of rocks sitting around. But here's the lever, and it's just like any other building. You access it with a Q, and cursor over it, and you'll find the options for it. The traps and levers menu here has a few different options. The one you'll probably use the most is the levers, unless you're, of course, under siege a lot, like I have been, and you might actually employ some of the other traps too. The levers here are used to control other features of the fortress, and you'll see the list of various things you can kind of control with the lever system here. The various objects will let you usually control either the flow of your dwarves in and out of your fortress, or, the flow of water and other, well, I would say magma, but you kind of have to prepare for that in advance too. And we don't have magma at the moment, so I kind of show off the whole pulling the lever thing, and it's not instantaneous. It takes a few seconds before the pulling of the lever will actually register as some activity coming with it. Unfortunately, me pulling that lever, since the reservoir beneath the well was already full, has caused the water to back up through the well. You see, the water pressure will go up as high as, up to the same sea level. The sea level is the elevation, more or less. And so, if you've got a system like I've got set up here, you kind of want to make sure you keep an eye on how much water is down in your reservoir, because you can cause all sorts of incidents. I'm glad I caught it before it got even worse, but we do have one casualty because of this, and you'll see. Yeah, I do also have ice in this area. During the winter, well, it actually starts at about late autumn, and it'll continue into the early spring. But the river here will freeze up, and you can kind of use ice. There's the well mishap casualty. You can actually use ice as a building material. However, it doesn't stay around very long underground. So if you start to mine it up, it will usually disintegrate by the time you get it to a building. I tried to make it a trade depot out of it, and it already had melted by the time my dwarves got it up there. But you can make walls of it outside, and they do stick around, oddly enough. Maybe that's another something that hasn't been, figured out or edited around, messed with in the features yet. It's not really something you can do a lot with, but it can be fun to make walls out of ice, just to say, hey, I've got walls made of ice. Yeah, make sure when you're mass dumping like this to watch out for your workshops. I kind of had done this accidentally earlier. What happens is that if your dwarves have things in the workshops that they're working on, or that they haven't been hauled to the depots yet, or they've stockpiles, if you set them to dump, they will actually go and take everything out of that workshop and dump it. So you'll have to make sure you check your dumping pile or what have you every once in a while to make sure that you know exactly what you are dumping and not dumping things that you actually want to keep. Now, I build this bridge, and I kind of hadn't set up the, not the retractable bridge, but the lifting bridge. Is kind of what I wanted to do for the doorway, but I kind of botched that up a little bit. Objects that are large enough, or floor tiles even, will let you select the amount of certain material you use to create that bridge or floor. You can shift and then hit enter on the particular material and use only that material, or you can use multiple materials to make either multicolored floors or just to make crafting the particular object faster by using materials that are closest to said project. So, I forgot what I'm looking for here. I thought I was searching for something that's wandering around out here in the wilderness, and sure enough I find this. I'm like, aha, it's the thing that I'm looking for, and it's not. It's a little 40 marmot, which doesn't really do anything for me. Actually, I think I was keeping an eye out for the goblins, maybe? Because I believe they do tend to follow this elven caravan in at a certain point, or at least around the same time as this elven caravan shows up. Nuisances they are. Like I said, it used to be you could set up a decent military by the time the first invasion, or the first ambush arrived, and you would be able to fight them off. I don't know what it is. The training weapons don't seem to really do it for me. I mean, they just don't seem to get it done. Whereas opposed to, in the next video, I actually already have some iron weapons and iron armor going on, and they seem to be a lot better with them. I don't know if this is just some kind of bug, or well, I don't know what the deal is, but we'll sort that kind of stuff out when we get to it. And I start to dig into the earth more so I can set up more of the housing, because I need more places. This particular run-through, or this particular build of the fortress, I got to where I started out with not maybe a migration of about 3 or 4 guys the first wave, and it was really pretty sad. And then like the next 2 waves, I got like another 20 people or so apiece, so I'm up to, I think I'm up to like 66 by this point, or 68, somewhere around in there. And I had actually cut that previous part of the video and restarted my fortress, because I really had only pulled the lever to show off the flow of water manipulation type activity. I really didn't want it to affect my fortress, so I kind of just, cheated and Alt-Control-Deleted. That's about the only way you can prevent something from happening in your fortress without you having saved. And that's only if you have auto-saving off, which I don't know if is still a feature. I'll have to check into that. I do, however, believe I have a... Oh, I think I was showing the bug there. Next video, I'll get you all caught up to speed on the new fortress, and we'll cover some details. Until then, have a good one.